Hello, I am here with my fabulous client, Sophie Griffiths, who has just finished working with me in Amplify to chat a little bit about her experience and her journey working together in Amplify. Sophie, would you be willing to introduce yourself, tell everyone what you do?
Hello, yeah, absolutely. So I'm Sophie. I'm a Facebook ads expert, if you like, and I help women primarily who run service businesses to get confident using Facebook ads to grow their business, usually by growing their email list.
And I love your offer, as we were just chatting about, because often when people want to start ads, it's really overwhelming, it's really expensive. So getting someone to run your ads for them, you literally need to have thousands of pounds budget. Whereas the program that we're going to talk about that you've developed literally helps people get started and grow their email list without literally paying for ads management as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one of my biggest frustrations. So I started working as an ads manager, and I worked with some amazing clients, but the amount you have to invest in like my fee plus the ad spend is such a big barrier for people. And I just got so frustrated that there wasn't a way of people like learning how to do it themselves. Because actually, when you focus in on like one specific type of ad, like growing your email list using ads, it doesn't have to be that expensive, and you can learn how to do it relatively easily. So that's why I created.
Awesome. So when you think back to when we first chatted 9 months or so ago, what was the problem in your business that had you thinking about starting a group program?
You are cutting in and out, just to let you know.
Oh, what a pain.
Um, I'll carry on. So the biggest problem that I had was, so I started my business. I had some brilliant management clients, and I sort of built that up, and it was really great, and it gave me consistent income. However, there were like two key issues for me. The first one was that when clients either stopped doing ads or, especially like during the pandemic and afterwards with all the economy issues, some businesses closed, people changed direction. And when I lost one client, it was a huge chunk of my income. It just felt really quite exposing. Like suddenly my income could drop that quickly. The second thing was that I was actually quite lonely. I created this amazing flexible life for myself where I only had like 1 hour call a month with my clients. And so if I had five clients, that would be like 5 hours a month. Um, but as someone who loved working for a big corporate, it's like really buzzy environment. I used to work at the airport. Like I was really lonely. So I started doing some training and some one-to-one, and I realized that actually with all of my like, corporate experience of training, and helping people learn, um, I realized that actually was a big passion of mine that I wasn't actually taking advantage of. So I decided to shift my business in that direction.
Awesome. So tell me what you actually wanted. Like, what was the ideal? You said you had this, like, the how reliant you were on these management clients, and then you had the loneliness thing. So, what was the ideal for you?
So the idea would be to have like a couple of management clients. It's nice and consistent, and I love doing that kind of in-depth work for clients. And then I work one-to-one then with clients as well, but I didn't want to then fill up my time. So I moved to one-to-one clients, which felt relatively easy. I was like, put some offers out there to my audience. And suddenly it swung the other way. And I was like, I had no time to do anything. I was inundated with one-to-one. And it just felt really actually a bit overwhelming, juggling all of these different, getting new people in all the time and juggling all these one-to-ones. So then I kind of realized that actually I think the group program was such a lovely sweet spot for me, where I can bring people in and teach them, but rather than having to teach the same thing over and over again, there is a content, but I get to coach them every week live, and it's not such a time commitment for me in terms of being on calls all the time, because I do find Zoom quite draining. I'm quite an in-person person.
Totally. And when we first chatted, like, what were your hesitations about joining Amplify as a group program?
Yeah. I mean, like really honestly, like I went on the call with you because I followed you for quite a lot of years, and I was like, oh, this is really interesting. Like she's doing what I want to do. Like I'm not interested in launches at all. Like I just don't have the energy for it. Um, but I had done quite a few group programs, like of different lengths. And honestly, I'd like sworn I was not going to do another group program. Like I just felt like group programs relied on me watching the content, and I just didn't really think I had time for that. I was like, I don't really have time to watch loads of content, and you never quite know if you're doing it right. And I've never had the best like personal experience. It just feels like you're sort of, the coach brings you in and then you're kind of almost, well, I don't want to say fobbed off, but there's other people then that sort of manage the group. However, once I spoke to you and I kind of understood a bit more about Amplify, I was like, okay, it sounds like I get time with Gemma if I need it, and the weekly calls plus the content is all in like little bite size, like 5-10 minutes, all of it, which is just like massively appealing to someone like me who finds it really hard to sit down for an hour and like watch something and then implement it. And everything, I think you were like, every video you do along with me. So like you sit and you do the work as you watch the video. And that was huge for me because then I actually get it done rather than just watching the content and never actually doing anything.
Totally. So you were nervous about joining because you'd had some negative experiences in other group programs. You found like you signed up and they didn't really deliver. What was your experience of Amplify?
I mean, the total opposite. I mean, if you are ever in my world, you will probably hear me raving about Gemma all the time. Think that for me, the really clear pathway that you need to the follow that you follow is such a game changer. Like just being able, every little thing, I'm like, oh, how do I do that? I'm like, oh, there's a video on that. Oh, there's a handout for that. Oh, there's a script for that, or that I can just use. Like everything is laid out in a super clear way. It's really nicely structured. There's like lovely little milestones that you can achieve, and then honestly, like the weekly calls with Gemma and you and like the rest of the community are just so, like, so much magic happens on there. Like often I'll come along thinking like, oh, I don't really have a question, and then either someone else's question will like blow my mind. I'll be like, oh, I didn't even know I had that question, and now I've like totally solved a problem. Or I'll think of something and it will open up like a whole new area that I wasn't even thinking about. So yeah, I think the mixture between the being able to have the time with you every single week and then the kind of content pathway to follow just makes you feel like you're making progress all the time. Lovely.
Lovely. And typically, my stream quality is affected every time I do a client story. So tell everyone what you have achieved personally then.
It's always the way. Yeah. Okay, so what I've achieved by the end. So I launched my group program in September. So it's called Bloom, and it is how to um, it takes people from never having done ads before to creating a Facebook ad campaign with a lead magnet that appeals to their dream clients, a Facebook ad campaign that amplifies everything they do to get out to their dream clients, and then a welcome sequence that welcomes people into their world. So that's the kind of core of the program. And it is all about creating Facebook ads to grow your email list full of dream clients. Is 12 weeks long. So the launch of it was in September, the beta, and that was, I think I had 5 people then. Um, and the next one was in November, and I had 2 people then. And then in January, it finishes. The next one starts on Monday, and I think I'll have another 5 people there. So overall, I'll have had 12 people through, which is incredible. Like I could not have even imagined that when I started working with you.
And you said at the beginning, like, you didn't want to launch, you didn't love like the energy behind it. How are you finding the energy of like the more rolling evergreen enrollment?
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice. It feels like there's a sort of rhythm. Like for the first time in my business, I actually feel like I could plan the year out. Like I feel like, so I enroll every other month. So it's like January and then March. And I know that I do like in the course, there's your monthly, monthly routine. And for me, that's more of like a 6 to 8 week routine, but it just feels really spacious. Like I know that I'll do a masterclass. I'm building my email list in between. I've got some my messaging really seems to be hitting home at the moment, which I've really spent a lot of time in Amplify, like working on that messaging and really understanding my clients and what they're looking for. And yeah, so it just feels really like relaxed. Like some at the first time I was a bit like, I think I remember saying to you, I don't feel like I'm doing enough. Like, why aren't I feeling stressed and burnt out and like, hammering people with emails? And I still got like amazing results from it. And so since then I've been really feeling like actually this relaxed approach, it comes across, I think, in my marketing as well. People don't feel that kind of pressure to sign up either. They want to sign up rather than feeling like they have to sign up or so yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, I love that. It's almost like a flip of the dynamic, isn't it? When we launch, we're like, buy, let's pressure. Here's
Mm,
another email. And when we flip it, it's like, I have this really great thing. Do you want it?
yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you want it?
Yeah, come on in. It's like the water's great. Like, come on over. I just think it's really I said to you this multiple times, but I have such confidence in Bloom. Like I in more than anything I've ever done, I feel like it's got an incredible foundation. The people are getting amazing results. People want to join me because they see that it is such a great opportunity to learn ads without having to like have an ads manager or um and that is just so powerful. Like I don't feel like I need massive bonuses and cut the price and up the ante on the like pressure funnels and like countdowns and stuff like that. It just feels like people can come and get to know me and actually often like, people say like I work with you because I love how you teach, what you teach, and I just kind of want to be in your world. And that's just such a nice positive way to run a business and be in every day.
Yeah. And just to reflect back, like, you had a model where you were heavily reliant on one, and one, that's kind of all eggs in one basket, but two, like you missed that kind of live interaction. You've, in 9 months, created a group program that you love, got really confident with your messaging, enrolled people monthly into it, and love the offer so much, you feel really confident selling it.
Yeah.
So for 2023, like, what's next for you?
I know, yeah, and just to kind of just to build on that, like the way that you coach and help, it's so much more than just your group program. Like I feel like the confidence that I've got from doing the group program has allowed me to develop more confidence in my one-to-one. I'm going for bigger, like monthly clients. It just feels like the whole of my business has kind of expanded. It's not just this amazing group program. It's like the whole thing has grown. I think that's what I have found so incredibly powerful about being part of Amplify, like being part of a group of women and people who are building their like doing these amazing things with their businesses. But in terms of 2023, I am so continuing to enroll into Bloom. I have got I'm just starting on a new kind of one-to-one program where I work with people who are already running their own ads, but feel like either they are maybe not running as well as they want them to, or they're kind of running them but not really sure what to do to make them better, or if they get worse, not really sure how to kind of help that. So, yeah, strategy really for people who are running their own ads, maybe spending like £1,000 plus a month. And want a bit more kind of strategy and guidance. I'm working on that one-to-one offer at the moment, and then I'll continue to do my lovely monthly management clients, including a brand new uh, government contract as well, which is very exciting.
Fancy. Awesome. So, what would you say
Fancy.
your biggest takeaway is from being an Amplify?
Oh my gosh. I mean, so much that, I mean, really that like getting the right support is an absolute game changer, not just in terms of the right content and the structure of the program, but people. I love that it was 9 months because actually like I could have ended the course in September, that when I've launched the program, like that could have been like your job kind of tick, you've got your program, off you go. But I mean, I don't mind saying, like, as an entrepreneur, you have doubts, don't you, all the time? So many doubts, and you think, am I doing the right thing? Is this the right program? What if more people don't want to sign up? What if the first launch was just a total fluke? Like, what if no one ever wants to buy it again? And there's so many times where I got to the point where I was like, actually, maybe I'll change the program, or maybe I'll try a different program, or maybe I'll get more people if I do this. And just having that, like that group to come back to, you to come back to on the weekly calls and kind of talk it through and work out, is it fear? Do we really need to burn it down? Actually, instead of creating something new, could we put that energy into getting more leads for your current program? And that, I think that support is just as what's kind of helped me keep going with one thing, which I've always kind of struggled with in the past, for sure.
Yeah, and like if you're open to me sharing, you had the classic niche drama that people have
Mm.
of I've picked the niche makes sense, but what if there's not enough people for the niche? Should I make the niche more general? Should I water down the niche? And then like thankfully you stuck with the niche and have ended up well not only with serving the right people, but with something that's actually in your skill set, like your zone of genius, and not like watering it down to something a little less.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what if not everyone wants Facebook ads? Like, what if I maybe should do broader marketing? Like, or I could help people, or maybe people could choose different elements of the program. Like, it's so easy to have that wobble and just think, but actually, Facebook ads is my area of expertise, and really the thing I actually think kind of I've built the success of, because I get people referring people to me, people who are currently on the course have like referred other people to join the course. So it becomes so much easier, I think, for people to be like, oh, you want Facebook ads? Oh, Sophie, she's the one, like she'll help you grow your email list and tell you how to then get clients from your email list. Like that's what she does. And I think, if I had gone into general marketing, it's so much harder for people to do that, isn't it, for you?
Yeah, just another marketing program, right? Everyone sells those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So, last question. Who would you recommend Amplify to, and what should others know about working with me?
Um, so I would recommend Amplify to people who are not looking for the burnout of the launch, because some people really like it, right? They like the excitement and the build up. I'm someone who likes like more of a steady, easy planning life. So definitely if you're looking for that, and I think really people who are ready to kind of step into that. I have to say the biggest thing for me has been it's made me so much more visible. Like I've got more one-to-one clients, I've got more months, because having this group program and this structure of getting myself out there has made me so much more visible. So I think you've got to be open to that. You've got to be ready to push yourself, and it's not you make it as easy as possible, but you've got to kind of be ready for that time and energy investment, haven't you? Of I'm going to put myself out there, and I'm going to like launching a program. It's quite vulnerable. Like you have to put yourself out there. So I think for people who are ready to kind of do that and be held in the background and be given kind of support and advice, but you kind of got to do the work.
Totally. I love that. Yeah, and it's really important to say, isn't it? Because even though we're not like launching in that high pressure stakes, we still have to sell the thing, which means growing your audience, getting
Yeah,
visible, offering the thing. And especially like if
yeah,
we're not going to leverage pressure tactics and scarcity, then what you need to replace it with is really good marketing. And that's why I find
yeah,
launches often cover up people's rubbish marketing because they just go all in with this push. And that's what I love about the vibe of Amplify, I guess, is like, what if we just got better at marketing, sustainable,
yeah,
long term marketing that attracts clients?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I was saying before when we spoke, like I my messaging has come on so much since I started Bloom. Like it's like really made me look at my overall like structure of my business and my marketing messaging. And I'm getting people like reflecting back my messaging to me now. I'm like really attracting like dream clients. And yeah, I think that is something I had no idea I would get from doing Amplify. Like it really was just for me about I need someone to help me tell me how to launch a group program. But it's been so much more than that. Yeah.
I love that. Sell them what they need, sell them what they want, give them what they need, right?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And it's like the nuanced messaging around that is so important.
Well, if you're watching this and you need help with Facebook ads, Sophie is your go to person. I highly recommend you get in touch. Where can people find you, Sophie?
So I'm mostly on Instagram, so at @the_social_pod.
At the social pod with underscores between those.
Underscores in between, yeah.
And depending on where you're watching this, if you're watching this on social media, comment below, amplify if you want more details on how to get support from turning a one-on-one service into an Evergreen group program. You can enroll month on month without these high pressure launches, or if you're viewing this on a web page, just book a call underneath. Thanks so much, Sophie, for chatting today and sharing your story.
You're welcome. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.